bright sunny day here. 47 degrees. Yeah, summer's kind of over, I guess. Where's my case? My case is running a headland by the looks of it, I think. Okay, so case is nearly done. Move on to, we'll do the sorghum field directly in front of us next with the weeder. And then I can transfer across the road and do the north field, the south field, and then that field which we're going to have to work our way around to. I might be able to trip over there, over the bridge, rather than go through the yard. Probably not. Okay, last full row. I think there's a partial in that bulge there. What will be done? Will mostly be done. And of course, once this is done, oh, I did not. Got a couple of things I should probably check, and one of those is what's the value of some of our produce? Maybe time to sell a thing or two, which would be good, because that's just more money for the farm. He's definitely running around that field, so that's headlands. And this is, hold on. There's one headland left. It's good. I just don't know where he started doing the headlands as to where he's going to end up on that field. That's fine. So we run over here. Carefully, not to end up in the ditch or rolled over. That would be a bad idea. And jump out here. So we've got perfect nitrogen pH there. And I believe this field is going to need a whole ton of... That has small weeds in it. That's interesting. Okay. Okay, so... let's go down here. This unfolded, and we can do our last farm job of the day. Ooh. Okay, and this is going to use up a ton of fertilizer, of course. But that is Okay, once this is done, that's all of our fields at perfect lime fertilizer. The tillage, not necessarily great. I think the oats were direct seeded, but everything else was planted. So we're not going to get the bestest on the tillage score on those. We've got soil analysis is all done. We're dealing with the weeds, not the bestest way. It prefers us to spray weeds, but I prefer mechanical weeds because that gives me a better yield. It doesn't damage the crop. Herbicide damages the crop, which will reduce your yield. Now, in aggregate, you still end up with more money. But, yeah, not so much. Plus the grass you don't weed anyway, so that never comes up with a good... At least, that's the thing. Cameo, good morning and happy Workers' Paradise weekend. Labor Day. So, yeah, there was mention that the environmental score was a little bit fudged this time around to take into account stuff that you don't do in fields. So for things like grass, you don't weed grass ever. So there may be an adjustment to the weed score. Yeah, I just had 6 days off up until Tuesday this week. I had the procedure on my back last week or the previous week on Tuesday. So I decided to take a week off. And I thought I had to go and see my doctor on Tuesday, so I booked it off until Tuesday, and then halfway through the week discovered, actually, I've got to go and see my doctor on the Monday, so I had a free day off on the Tuesday, which was good. Unfortunately, after my procedure, they said, oh, this will take about 2 weeks to recover from the procedure itself. It's like, I wish I'd known that, because I might have taken this last week off as well. Yeah. I actually did discover that I have a lot of paid time off in the bank at the moment. And a lot of that is due to me saving it up because Mrs. Ose has had medical issues, I've had medical issues, and so I was just burning it up with hospital visits, driving her to her specialist consultations and all things like that. So it just ended up that I went through all of my vacation and then some, just doing that. But she's been clear for 2 years now, and he's driving it. And at the time she couldn't drive, so I was having to drive everywhere. I was having to do the shopping. I was all the things. She's driving herself around now, so that's awesome. So I haven't been using vacation days, and I'm not in the habit of using vacation days for the last 4 years. So I have a few of them left over this year. So I figured I'm going to use some up, because I get another batch. End of September. Might be next week. I might have another week and a half's pay time off hours added to the bank. So I have to keep an eye on that. I do have the option to sell them back, but I'm the sort of person who never takes vacation, and then I get so run down because I've just been exerting myself mentally, for so much time, that the first person who walked into the office and sneezed, that's it, I'm out for a week and a half, 2 weeks. That happened twice in my first IT job. And eventually it got to the point where I could recognize I need time off. And we just finished a project, so we put it in on first weekend, and for the first week you're usually babysitting it, dealing with any teething problems, what have you. And so I went to my boss and I said, okay, I want the week following, I want a week off. Don't think I went for 2. I think I just said I want a week off. And he's like, oh, but we've got a new project starting and we'd like you to get on with that following week. And I said, this is a bad idea. I am so exhausted from all the work I've had to put in for this project. If I don't take the time off, then I will take the time off, but I'll be, down with the man flu, in bed for a week. We won't know when, we won't know how long, and it's much better for me to say, look, I just won't be here next week, and I'll have fun doing whatever it is I want to do, and you won't have to scramble because all of a sudden I call in sick and I'm not here for a week and a half or 2 weeks. So he's like, yeah, I guess if you put it that way. And he'd been through the me not seeing the symptoms of being completely run down and ending up taking a week, 2 weeks off sick. So he was like, yeah, okay, yes, you can have that week off. And so grudgingly, it's like, yeah, it does make sense. I did not move the case over. That was dumb. We'll do that at the end of this row. The other problem my employer has is I'm getting close to retirement age. And my colleague retired beginning of this year. So it's a case of we are the two experts in our company's order entry system. And really? Let me jump out here. Oh. What is this field? Am I in the grass field? Blah, blah, crop type grass. Idiot. Okay. That's me not realizing where I was. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Now, I mean, ever since I started, which is 15 years ago, they've been talking about we want to move our order entry system off the mainframe onto a browser PC app type screen. So the screens are all running on the PC, which makes sense. Our current order entry screen is basically a 80 by 24 character green screen with color enhancement. Basically, we haven't had green screens for a long time, but really, you're limited to 7 colors plus black, so eight colors maybe, and our order entry screens are at the point where there is no real estate on the screen to put more stuff, and we can't rearrange them very easily. And PCs, you can make screens pretty, you can have push buttons, you can have all the bells and whistles. So they've decided, they've been talking about rewriting the order entry system since I started, so 15 years ago, actually 17 years ago. And so that's a thing. The problem is they really haven't spent, it's only within the last 4 or 5 years that they've actually been working on it properly. So, my expectation is once that's up and running and everything is handled by the PC team, I kind of get to retire anyway because, my job has been made obsolete. But right now, I'm the only one that can do my job. And it is glaringly obvious that I am. I took off, as I said, I was off sick the last couple of weeks, and I had, in spite of having an out-of-office memo, I had 80 emails from various people with requests to do things that nobody else in the company appears to be able to do. Well, that's sort of a bit of an issue, isn't it? If I'm the only one that can do it. Every time I train someone up to also do the job, they usually quit after 6 months down the line. Okay, one of them was because she was pregnant and going to have a baby. And then she decided, you know what? I like being off looking after my baby, so I'm not coming back to work. So it's like, okay, well, that was the first person I trained. I trained someone else up. And they quit. And then my colleague just retired, and he vaguely knew a lot of what I did. I take a week off, I take 2 weeks off, and it's like, nobody can get anything done because I'm not there. As it is, I generally don't take vacation last week of a month because that's when people want pricing updated and stuff like that. Nobody else in the company knows how to do it because, of course, they don't. Okay, what am I doing here? We've done that. Gonna need to clear out the fish tank again. Look, there's a big... Oh, that's across the road. I could do that. It's going to mean more fertilizing, but okay. Let's accept that contract. I've already bought the fertilizer, so... Yeah, the fish tank pump is sounding a little bit overstressed. So usually means there's a bunch of crud in the feeder pipe. Excuse me. That's annoying. Well, that remedy didn't help matters, so I will... obviously that's going to be a job this afternoon. And get us across the way. Fertilise that field. Looks like the field hasn't germinated yet, so... Is it that one in front of us? I don't know. That's 30. Oh, it's the pink crop. What is pink? Red beets. Okay, but it's not that crop there, so... Oh, boo. Oh, look, somebody doesn't like being on Twitch. And submit report, block the user, bye-bye. Okay, back to the game. Let's, that's a problem. Okay, what can I do? I can... No. Do that. This might not work out too well, but we'll have a go. There we go. Okay. So now that it's at an angle, I should be able to grab that without getting stuck in the ditch again. Plus I can approach further angled. And we are out of there. Good. Oh, yeah, red beets, good grief. But that's not my field. I'm not sure if it's that one there. No, it's past the trees. Oh, it's actually germinated. That's surprisingly awesome. Although this field I would like A, a bigger boom, and B, a probably a self-propelled sprayer would be good for this, because they tend to drive faster than tractor-hauled things. Oh, we're going sideways. That's even better. Wow, that's awesome. Let's steering assist, okay. Actually, you know what? Let's turn that way. So I get to do the headlands and then we just get to run rows. That's just awesome. And turn that on. That on and off we go. Now there is a cheat here. You can turn it off of automatic and put it on manual application at the lowest rate. So our current application rate's 291 litres per hectare. I could put it on manual and do something like 20. Still counts as fertilising, but it doesn't waste all my fertiliser. Not going to do that. And I need to keep an eye on the case. hoping I've got enough diesel for that. It looks like it's down to 47% diesel. That's fine. So we paid, yeah, we spent 10,000 on fertilizer. I don't think I'm going to need any more to do this field than what we already have, but it does mean that all of this income is our income, and actually this job will pay for the fertilizer we bought and the hoe. So that's a good thing, I guess. So a nice thing here is we can run across the field. See, this guy hasn't even bothered doing headlands. He's just gone straight, although he's gone straight width rather than up and down. I'm not sure. That thing is getting very annoying. It's the last. The thing is okay. It's the last weekend of the month. I tend to do major fish tank maintenance on first weekend of the month. But this is the 5th weekend this month, so because the filter system has an intake filter which I clean every week, and then it has a large filter system inside of it which I tend to do once a month, and also the inlet and outlet pipes need cleaned. But I think it's the inlet pipe. The problem is I've got a rock right next to it that's growing a lot of moss type stuff, and that moss type stuff keeps getting dragged into the inlet pipe. So I'm thinking of taking the rock out. I've got more than enough features in the tank for the fish to hide behind, so I might just take that one out. Don't know what to do with it. That's the problem. What do you do with the rock that you paid for? I mean, it's been in there for 5 years, so it's not